Welcome on into the podcast. I'm Brett.
I'm Dorian.
We got some nerd news as always.
So we're talking the new Loki trailer. We're also going to be talking about E3's plans for this year. Yep, it's still E3 is still
We'll see.
happening, surprisingly.
We'll
And we're also going to be talking about some the behind the scenes drama that was happening with some of the DCEU movies. But first things first, let's start off with some Batman news. Now, take this next story with a very, very large grain of salt because this is all rumor and speculation right now. But according to a nerd website called Giant Freaking Robot, Christian Bale may be coming back as Batman in Flashpoint. Now, the rumor also...
You pretty much lost all credibility with me with the Giant Freaking Robot website.
It's not just them. It's some other websites have said that.
Okay.
He's in talks too. But I mean but Giant Freaking Robot is the most notable one here. But apparently this might be a thing that if Michael Keaton does pass on coming back as Batman, Christian Bale might take his spot potentially. So, I mean, here's the thing. I would be absolutely stoked if this happened. I mean, bring back the best Batman, in my opinion. But, again, I can see it happening.
George Clooney?
Yes, George Clooney. I can see it happening, and I could also see it not happening just because Flashpoint is wanting to, go back through all of DC's, live action projects and go through and pay homage and all this stuff here. So I could see them touching upon it. I don't know if I really see it being like a big thing here, I would see it more as maybe a cameo type thing, if anything.
I don't really buy this as of now, but that's not to say if it happens, I'm very excited.
Again,
I am a little sad that Michael Keaton won't be in there.
Yeah. Again, this is not confirmed. And even if this does turn out to be true, this is him in the studio just having conversations. It doesn't confirm anything.
Right. Yeah. It could be nothing.
It could be.
So, it would be fun. Why not throw them all in there? I mean, it is a Flashpoint movie. Just do it. We got more Batman news. Yeah. Do a Into the Batverse movie. That'd be about it.
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of Batman, it's gonna be released in theaters. So the Batman that's coming out with Mr. Robert Pattinson, aka Cedric Diggory from Harry Potter. The way WB's going is an interesting way because starting in 2022, WB is only going to be releasing in theaters. That's all they're doing. They're not going to be joining the big, the HBO Maxes or anything like that. At least what it seems now. That could all change tomorrow. But basically, there's going to be a period of time where they can, after the movie's released in theaters, that they will go to things like HBO Max or what have you. But it's going to be about a month and a half, 45-day kind of bar on not being on those platforms. So I don't know. I mean, with a lot of stuff coming out, a lot of rumors that we've reported on, a while ago, and you've included it here in the notes, is, we got the DC movies coming out. We got the Harry Potter series that's been rumored. You got the Godzilla, King Kong, all that stuff that's happening. And I didn't see the movie, but we'll talk about that later, or at least you will. But
we'll talk about it.
Yeah. All that stuff. There's some pretty big hitters coming out next year for them. And so it will be interesting to see where we're at in another year. But, I'm kind of a pessimist as it is now because I thought we were going to be out of the woods a long time ago. So,
that makes
R.I.P. Wallet. R.I.P. Wallet's all I got to say.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, with HBO Max releasing movies in theaters and and on HBO Max, or I should say Warner Brothers doing this for their big movies, is honestly a godsend. I wish it actually happened sooner rather than later. That way we would actually not had delays last year and whatnot. But
Yeah.
that's hindsight's 2020, I guess, on that here. But you know, I mean, it was good while it lasted. I mean, I know I'm going to use this to watch Mortal Kombat in a couple of weeks. I'm probably going to use it to watch Suicide Squad when it comes out, and whatever else I feel like watching. But it's going to be one of those things that it's going to be hard to put that genie back in the bottle, I feel like, because I think with HBO Max saying, "Hey, we're going to have, new movie releases on this streaming service the same day it comes out for the first 30 days." I feel like that
Yeah.
raised the stock on HBO Max immensely. So again, it's going to be one of those things
Yeah,
where
tenfold for
if
sure.
if they're looking at the the value of HBO Max, taking a nosedive or something like that, they may just say, okay, we need to bring that format back because that was working for us. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I still think that they should do both, in my opinion, and maybe do like a 2-week buffer. I can see that, or even so that people who really want to see it right out the gates can go to the theaters and see it, and then like families, you got to think like
Sure.
it's really hard to pay to go to the movie theater if you have kids and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, yeah, like we'll see in the next year or so, maybe 2 years from now if the model comes back where they're doing both. I I don't see it hurting them that much, like I guess it really depends on how big if the theaters tank, then, I can see them going back to the platform, but I think with the current trends that
Yeah.
they'll be back in pumping out movies at theaters. So, we'll see. But we got we got some more Batman news. We got a Long Halloween trailer, which I saw, and it was fine. You got I think it's Jensen Ackles, right? Ackles. I don't know how to say his name. He's
Yeah,
gonna be
the
voicing
guy
Batman.
who played he played Red Hood in Under the Red Hood movie, so he graduated to Batman here, so go figure. And honestly, I
Yeah,
think he does pretty well with the voice.
yeah,
So,
I think so too.
but
I think it's good. And
yeah.
then I'm trying to
Um
think is they don't have Mark Hamill coming back. That's Troy Baker as Joker. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, I think it is, or at least like a very,
It's hard to tell.
someone doing their best Mark Hamill impression for sure, but
Yeah,
uh
I want to say it's Troy, but we'll see.
we'll see. So yeah, I mean the trailer looks okay. I mean, I kind of wish they followed the art style of the comic a little bit more, kind of with like the use of color and the a lot more use of silhouettes that they used in that storyline. Um, and at this point in time, it's kind of hard to be optimistic about DC adapting these you know, storylines for their movies just because they have not really been hitting out of the park lately with that, with like things like, the Killing Joke and Hush. They kind of butchered those. So,
I mean,
we'll
I didn't
see.
even bother to see Hush because that's in my opinion the best Batman arc in comics. But
It's it's on
that's my
HBO
opinion.
Max right now here. So if you ever feel like
Oh, it
wasting
is.
about like an hour and a half of your life, feel free. But I mean, it's like it was like it's just they just really botched that
I've
one.
seen the Killing Joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the Killing Joke. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see what happens with Long Halloween. I think it's interesting that Long Halloween is coming out with the rumors of the inspiration of the Batman, getting it from the Long Halloween, as well as like Court of Owls. So we'll
Yeah.
see. All
We'll see.
right, so there's the Justice League writer has broken his silence. So Chris Terrio has basically come out and said and talked about kind of like all the behind the scenes stuff that was happening with Warner Brothers and the DCEU. And basically, it sounds like they didn't have a plan at all. and you can kind of see that in the movies.
Yeah.
So you want to talk a little bit about that, Dorian?
Yeah. Sure. So Chris Terrio. So some of his writer credits include Rise of Skywalker, BVS, and Justice League here. So yeah.
Yikes.
So
Yikes.
yeah. So basically, he I think did an interview with, I think it was Variety or something like that. Anyhow, he made public statements about what it was like working with Warner Brothers and blah blah blah. Basically, he said the studio mandated release dates, which gave writers very little time to coordinate like between storylines and like story threads between movies. He also claims that while writing Justice League, he didn't even have access to the Wonder Woman script, so he couldn't like take things that happened in the Wonder Woman movie to springboard off of. And I guess like he also argued with the studio over a ending that was cut from BVS, where Batman is in the jail cell with Lex Luthor, and he's like talking to him, and he has his bat brander brass knuckle thing or whatever you want to call it, and he like actually does brand Lex Luthor, but in the movie that we got, he doesn't. So he said like it would totally like undercut like what they were going for with Batman, like how he had like kind of a redemption arc in Batman v Superman. So let's just get one thing out of the way before we get too much further in this conversation. If you helped write BVS, I hate you and your family. So I'm just gonna put that out there. I have no, I have no,
Right.
I have no, like if you're gonna come and tell me like, hey, this is the reason why my movie sucked, I'm like, I don't think so. Like, I think you're just making excuses at this
No,
point.
you've been a part of 3 movies that sucked.
Yeah, I think you're just a bad writer, Chris Terrio. Now that being said,
Yeah.
I will give a little bit of the benefit of the doubt because, I mean, you definitely saw it like between like BVS, Suicide Squad, Justice League, that there was like a real big crunch at that time. It's like when Zack Snyder um had that family tragedy where he had to leave Justice League. Warner Brothers didn't like delay the movie like or like shut down production or even like allow Joss Whedon to come in and like do the movie like completely from the ground up or something like that. They just kind of worked with what they got and say, okay, let's just put this thing out the door here. So yeah, I mean, so that being said, I get that. I mean, you definitely can see that trend, but again, don't blame the studio for you just being a bad writer. That's all I gotta say on it.
No, I agree with that. Like, let's stop rewarding people who are bad at what they do.
Yeah.
Let's just not let them do that anymore. So, in other
Yeah.
news, Joss Whedon is a butt face. So there's
Yeah.
been more and more
Yeah.
stuff coming out about Joss and his time with Justice League and how he kind of operates his sets. And apparently now it's come out, and I don't. Here's the deal: everyone's getting Me Too these days, so I don't know how I'm gonna say allegedly. So Joss Whedon allegedly threatened Gal
Yeah.
Gadot's career because she didn't really agree, or she had questions about what her character was doing or where they were going. And he basically just told her to shut up.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you don't get to make these decisions. Just like you're here to,
Yeah.
do what I say, basically. And so it's not looking good for him. I
Yeah.
don't know what he's even been doing lately. Like, I don't know if he's in any projects or anything like that, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good for him.
Yeah, I know Joss Whedon has definitely been he's definitely public opinion has definitely turned on him within within like the last like year or so. He's been getting like a lot of hashtags me too or hash brown me too's thrown at him.
You got to hash brown it.
Uh,
Yep.
yeah, hash brown me too, Cobra Kai. Thrown at him from like all the way back from when he was doing Buffy the Vampire Slayer and stuff like that. And obviously with the release of the Snyder Cut, like being the better version of Justice League, obviously people are willing to take a big dump on Joss Whedon and all that. I mean, and if he's just a bad guy, he's a bad guy. Okay, yeah, fine. Let's just not have him work in Hollywood anymore here, and just leave it at that. But I mean, I feel like there's just like a ton of people
Yeah.
like that are just like abusive to like their cast and crew, like James Cameron and all that get a pass. So I'm not entirely sure like why we're like
Michael Bay.
making Michael Bay. Yeah, he's another one. So I'm not entirely sure why those guys are getting a pass, but Joss Whedon is not. I mean, this is a guy who essentially made the MCU what it is today with like the Avengers here. So it's
Yeah, that's
kind of
true.
it's kind of surprising to me. And I mean, take it for what it is. I mean, it is. They are just allegations at this point in time. I mean, it's not confirmed facts. I mean, maybe he did it, maybe he didn't. I don't know. That's not what I'm here to. That's not really like my place to call it here. So
No. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hopefully it's not, stuff he sings. Even if it is true, it's like, I don't know. I
yeah,
understand, but like like he is your boss when you're on set. Like you should probably listen to him. So
yeah,
yeah, everyone's getting me too these days. So it's kind of like just get over yourself, live your life. If he's bad at what he does, then don't do it anymore. But yeah, uh,
correct. Yeah,
yeah. So I just found out Rocky's not going to be in Creed 3, which is interesting because it's
yeah,
basically a Rocky continuation. And basically, Sylvester Stallone's people just came out and said he's just not going to be, he's bowing out of this movie. I mean, the dude's like 80 years old. Like, I can see if he has maybe some health stuff going on, or he's just like, I ain't got time for this anymore. I'm too old, too tired. I want out. I don't want to do it. Or it could be the direction that
yeah,
maybe the movie's going, because I know that Michael B. Jordan is set to direct it as well, I think. So we'll
yeah.
see what happens.
I've heard that
I
too.
I like the Creed movies. They're fine, but without
Mhm.
Rocky, I don't know how this is going to go. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember when the first trailer for the very first Creed movie came out, and halfway through the trailer they show Rocky Balboa show up in the trailer, because at this point in time you're just thinking like, oh, okay, this is just another boxer movie, blah blah blah, and then you see Rocky show up and like everybody's like, well, okay, now you got our attention, basically, kind of thing. So
Yeah,
I mean, I guess like maybe if like this is like if this is like essentially like wanting to have Creed, evolve beyond like having to, lean on Sylvester Stallone for pulling in people, that could be one thing. But I don't know, man. I mean, I've never seen any of the Creed movies, so I don't know if like they really sent Rocky Balboa off in a satisfying way or anything like that. Because if they didn't, I feel like they probably should do that with this movie if they want to move on. But I don't know.
right. Yeah. Loki got a trailer, this second trailer, I should say, ahead of release, which is interesting. So,
Yeah.
yeah, what did you think about it?
Honestly, I liked it. I mean, definitely you get a lot more information than you got from that first trailer, because really what that first trailer was just kind of more of a montage of what was going on and not really explaining you know kind of the basic premise of it.
Storyline.
And yeah, so basically it looks like it's going to be almost like a buddy cop show with like Loki and Owen Wilson's character. I don't know if they name dropped him or whatever here. So, and it's going to be pretty much all revolved around time travel here, and I think Owen Wilson's organization is what, the Timekeepers or something like that. I think is what they called them.
So yeah, I think that's what they are. Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
they're going to be dealing with Loki and how he altered time, and then also like other time altering events that happen in there, and then Loki is going to be, just regular Loki, just wheeling and dealing, backstabbing kind of thing, can't be trusted type deal. So, yeah, no, I mean, it looks like a good time.
Yeah, I agree. It looks like a fun time. It's interesting though, because like I just feel weird about this Loki because it's not like the OG Loki. It's like
Right.
the alternate timeline Loki. And I had
Right.
to remind my wife. She's like, "Wait, how is he? How is he alive?"
Alive.
And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, well, this is that Loki when they went back in time to the first Avengers. He got away. This is that Loki." And she's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
She's like, "Well, that's dumb." I'm like, "I'm sure he's
Yeah.
gonna
I
find
mean,
a way into the main storyline or something." I don't know.
I mean, who knows? Spider-Verse might, bring Loki back into the fold here. So, Um, yeah, but I mean, again, I think like if it was continuing with like the OG Loki, because I mean by that time he came around to the point where he became more selfless and he wasn't like trying to manipulate and all that at the end of like Thor Ragnarok and Infinity War. So I think this Loki where he before he kind of had his redemption arc is the one that people want to see, and it makes sense for them to go back and do this. But you know, so give it a little bit of time. I mean, he'll work his way back into the main timeline, I'm sure, or something along those lines.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
All right, so Spider-Man swinging into Netflix. Sony and Netflix have made a deal for Spider-Man movies to appear on Netflix after the theatrical runs. It's going to be looking like it's about 4 years for the contract, but it doesn't give Netflix exclusive streaming rights, so that can mean a lot of different things. We'll see what
Yeah.
happens, but that means we're going to get all the Spider-Mans on Netflix, which is, yeah. So what do you think about this?
Yeah. Well, for starters, it's very weird that Disney didn't swoop in and make this deal with Sony to put all the Spider-Man movies on Disney Plus, because it's like they're MCU movies. Why wouldn't you go in and make this deal before Netflix could, or even like have those talks with Sony, seeing how you guys been wheeling and dealing and negotiating just to keep Spider-Man in house here. So now if you want the entire MCU library, you have to subscribe to 2 streaming services. So yeah, I mean, not a great model in all honesty, but it is what it is. And that's just the world we live in.
Yeah, I was surprised that Disney Plus didn't go for it, but I'm guessing they probably offered less than what they wanted to like pay, and Netflix has Disney also has a bankroll, but I'm guessing there was probably going to be some kind of a addendum where they said like, well, we want more rights to the character, which it sounds like there's gonna be more movies with Tom Holland if this is the case for Netflix. If they're gonna have these
Yeah.
Spider-Man movies coming out, because they're only making, I mean, I think he only had a deal for 1 more or 2 more movies or something.
I think 2 more. I think it was 2 more Spider-Man movies, and then like he'd also have like some team up movies that he was going to be a part of, which we don't know
Well, I'm
what
pretty
those
sure
look
he's gonna
like.
be in
So we'll
Venom
see.
2. Yeah, I think he's gonna be in Venom 2. So,
We'll see. We'll see.
yeah. So, but yeah, Disney is also placing bets on theaters because apparently there's some movies coming out this summer that are not going to have any Disney Plus premiere access, and those movies are Free Guy and Jungle Cruise, which is starring Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock. So yeah,
Mhm.
Jungle Cruise comes out pretty quick, July 30th, and then Free Guy comes out August 13th. So this is
So
interesting.
shortly after, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to speak to Disney's confidence that people will be able to go back to theaters, or at least like, the majority of like capacity or the majority of people will be able to do this. Um, you know, maybe not. I mean, because at the same time they're putting Black Widow to July 1st, and I think it's July 1st, and that's going to also be on Premiere Access. So I mean, I don't know if this is just
I think it's
one of the.
July. I think it's July 9th.
Is it July 9th? Okay. So I mean,
I
this is
think
like,
so.
I think this is like only a couple of weeks after. So yeah, this is only a couple weeks after Black Widow comes out either way. So I don't know whether or not um, Disney is saying like, okay, we're gonna have a hard time convincing people to uh, pay $30 to watch these movies in particular. I mean, Black Widow, I think they know that people will pay $30 to watch that movie, but yeah, I mean, it's I don't know, it kind of seems a little contradictory at this point in time. I mean, maybe I mean it's hard to say, I guess.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
Godzilla vs. King Kong sets a record for the pandemic. So opening weekend saw 48.5 million domestically and 120 million globally. Previous record held by Wonder Woman 1984 with 16 million for its domestic debut.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, all of these things are pointing to a good spot for new movies. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean granted, like here's the thing. 48 million dollars like for a opening weekend for a big budget blockbuster movie is not in like a normal setting like really that impressive. However, when you consider that a superhero movie that came out last year only was able to pull in 16 million, uh, which is an abysmal amount for like a domestic debut. I think this really shows that okay, we are actually getting a lot closer to getting back to like normal when it comes to movie theaters, and we're going to start getting things back, uh, getting movies back, and like having less delays, all this garbage and whatnot, and we're you know things are improving. So
yeah, they are. I'll start believing things are loosening up in the general sense when Disneyland opens back up because it still hasn't, and I want it to open up. So,
fair enough.
yeah. Apparently, E3's not dead because stuff's happening. Uh,
Yes.
yeah. So it's gonna happen June 12th through 15th, which not too far from now. We got about 2 months.
Hmm.
It's gonna include Nintendo, Xbox, Capcom, Konami, Ubisoft, Warner Bros. Games, and more. Sony being one of the big wigs that are not going to be part of this. So, what do you think is going to happen? Is this it? Is this the last E3 ever?
What I mean, here's the thing. It's like a couple weeks ago, we were even wondering who's actually going to show up at E3, just because it seemed like Xbox wasn't on board. They were having a hard time getting like actual like major developers to show up and present their games and blah blah blah. Um, the fact that they got Nintendo and Xbox, so like two of the big three, is promising. I mean, Sony was, even if like E3 was doing well, Sony was probably not going to show up anyway because they haven't done that for a couple of years now here. Um, all I gotta say is E3, you got yourselves another shot. Don't blow it. That being said, I mean, I'm glad that E3 will actually have some weight behind it. Maybe we'll actually see Breath of the Wild 2. You know, one can hope, I guess,
Or
right?
the Switch Pro?
It's funny you mentioned that, Brett.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, there's more Switch Pro rumors. Data miners are quick to look at the Switch's last update, and that there is information that could point to a new dock for the 4K console. There are also signs of a new console having Bluetooth audio features, which is very much needed. And then
Yes.
the data miners want to be clear that it's at best assumptions based on information they found. There's nothing concrete about this. So I'm
Yeah.
thinking E3, we're going to get a big announcement saying, 4K Switch is on its way this holiday season, along with Breath of the Wild, along with Majora's Mask remake, along with if you want to call it Zelda All Stars, whatever, I don't know, 3D Zelda All Stars, and then
Yeah.
they get their own little Game and Watch as well. We'll see. I don't know.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's I mean, I'm thinking there has to be an official announcement coming soon. We're hearing more and more information, and Nintendo is it seems like having a hard time, you know, plugging like the leaks in their ship here, essentially, because more and more information about this keeps coming out. So they're gonna have to just come out and say it at some point. And I think E3 will be the place that they may do it, seeing how they just signed up to be on E3's show. And yeah, so it would make sense.
Yeah, for sure. Neo details have come out on World's End with You.
Mhm.
So the new Neo World's, it's such a long name.
It,
World
it
Ends with
is.
You is got a new trailer, and like kind of like they announced the cast, basically like who's gonna be in the characters and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I watched the trailer. It was pretty cool because you got to see the new gameplay and all that, and that the pins are coming back. The pin system, which was like kind of
They
their
are.
how you got different abilities and all that stuff. So it's going to be a sequel to the first game, and there's going to be at least 300 pins. And then the main character from the first game, Neku, will make an appearance. So this is coming out July 27th.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all about it. Give me all of this here, I mean, so glad that it's not getting delayed, knock on wood here and all that, but it's already been rated by, the ESRB, so that's usually a pretty good sign that the game's pretty much done here at this point in time if they're
Yeah.
not having to go develop or change content or whatever. So, yeah, so fingers crossed we get it in July, and yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah, it looks fun. They did a good job of capturing the original game's kind of OG style, or not the last game, but yeah. So I'm excited for it. It was a lot of fun playing that game.
Mhm.
So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But Deathloop has been delayed. So those of you wanting to play Deathloop, it was supposed to come out May 21st. Now coming out September 14th.
Yeah.
So studio says that it needed more time to improve the quality of the game and create a safe environment for its staff. So good on them for thinking of their staff and not kind of trying to crunch hours. Like that's what I'm guessing is they didn't want them working tons of overtime and stressing them out. So good move on them for
Yeah.
giving them a couple more months for development and finishing it up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I nobody wants to be the new Cyberpunk here. I mean, that's I think the lesson that every developer it has learned from the recent events here. I'm interested to
Yeah.
play this game. Maybe by the time this game comes out, I'll actually be able to find a PS5. We'll see.
Yeah, I'll be playing it on God's Supreme Console. So
The Neo Geo?
yeah, the Neo Geo. Switch Pro, baby. Yeah, so or this the Switch because I think it's probably gonna be on everything, but we'll see.
I think it's I think it's just a PS5 exclusive. I think.
No, it's
Oh,
not. Don't lie.
okay.
I'm
Okay.
just kidding.
Okay.
I actually don't know. I think it's. I don't know if they specified that. I just remember watching the trailer and all that. or the gameplay that they had. But all right, that's it for nerd news. We're gonna head into our roundtable review. Dorian, what we got?
Well, another week, another Falcon and Winter Soldier episode. So we're gonna be going into spoilers. So shut the video off or just don't care. So let's start with you. What are your thoughts and feelings on this episode?
I think this was the weakest episode by far. I don't even think it's close. Part of that being I was just bored. Pacing was bad. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't really make sense when it's happening. Like I think you probably mentioned it too, but like there's like this culmination of this episode basically where they're trying to meet up with Carly and get more information, and Sam's like, well, I could go in because I could talk to people. Basically, I did it for a long time. And so there's this fight that breaks out, and something happens, and I'll let you talk about that, but something happens, and then they all just kind of stop fighting, like and they just like walk away, like the
like what I'm referring to specifically is like the second fight that they have, because they have that first one where they're Sam's talking
where
to
she's
her
getting
and then,
chased.
Yeah, she's getting chased and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about the second one too.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, the first one, yeah, there's like a little scuffle, and then there's like a chase scene, which basically they find Carly has the super soldier serum, and then Zemo, you're not really sure what he's going to do with it. He ends up smashing all of them, and then John Walker finds one of them and he injects himself with it. So he is now a super soldier, but which is whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I think Sharon Carter's the power broker. I don't. Yeah, it's kind of alluding to that. There wasn't really anything explained, but like when she's walking past these armed guards into this area, and they kind of just move out of her way. I was like, okay, something else is going on.
I mean, that seems to be the working theory I'm seeing a lot of online, that she is the power broker, and also when you got armed guards, you got some kind of pull here.
Oh yeah, and I like the last scene, and that's about it. I like how John Walker basically went nuts. So I mean, I get it. So yeah, what did you think?
I mean, I got mixed feelings about this episode. I mean, like you said, the pacing is just not there. It's just it's very wonky. It's just not tight. I'll just say that here. They're still going with the espionage tone that they introduced in the last episode. But it's definitely a more darker this go around, especially towards the end. And obviously, spoilers and whatnot, but Battlestar dies in this episode from fighting the Flag Smashers. It happens pretty much like towards the very end of the episode. And when that happens, like everybody pretty much stops fighting like right then and there here. And like, I'm just like, what is this? Is this just like, hey, we were just like roughhousing. We were just playing around. We didn't really mean anything. But then somebody actually got hurt. So you got to stop everything, put a flag out on the field type thing. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah. Well, it's like when you're a kid and you're playing a game or whatever with your friends, and you're kind of roughhousing, and then someone actually gets hurt. And you're like, oh crap, I don't want to get in trouble. And then everyone's just standing around.
Exactly. No, that's exactly what it was like. It was like, oh yeah, no, these international terrorists and these superheroes are fighting, but when one dude gets hurt and gets or killed, I guess. Yeah, okay, let's just all just stop what we're doing and just take a moment to stop this here. I mean, it's kind of like the same thing with like last week with Zemo when he killed the scientist, blew up the lab,
he shot the guy.
And then all of a sudden in the next scene, he's coming back, shooting the guys that are shooting at, Sam, Bucky, and Sharon. and then pulls up in the car. Is like, hey, we're still friends, right? You guys need a ride and to get out of here, right? It's just like, okay, a little conflicting on that.
Yeah,
On how
totally.
how that
I
should
also
go.
liked when the Wakandans showed up. When
Yeah,
the Wakanda, I can't remember the name of the girls, but like their elite fighters basically show
right.
up for a minute, but they're supposed to take
Yeah,
down Zemo. Zemo
yeah.
escapes. BT Dubs.
Hmm.
Zemo escapes. And I there's only 2 episodes left.
Yeah,
So I don't really know where this is going or how it's gonna end. To be honest, I'm kind of like it just doesn't. It started
yeah,
off pretty strong for me, but it seems like it doesn't know where it wants to go. Um,
Y-
so we'll see.
yeah. I mean, yeah. On the note about the Wakandans, so like at the beginning of the episode, it picks up pretty much right where it left off from last week, where the Wakandan lady is confronting Bucky in the alleyway, or basically saying, "Hey, you got Zemo, we want him," and they basically come to an agreement that says, "Hey, I need him right now. After that, do whatever you want with him." They like gave Bucky like 2 minutes to get his business affairs with Zemo sorted out here. Like, it
Pretty
legitimately.
much. And
So it.
this episode was.
I'll go ahead.
I was gonna say this episode was like super predictable. Like as soon as they started talking, like giving Battlestorm our lines, I was like, he's gonna die. And then
Yeah.
and then I was pretty sure that John Walker was gonna go berserk and end up killing one of them.
Well, I
But I
mean,
love that scene was great.
no, it was. Especially with like the blood on like the shield. Like, that was like
Yeah,
that was the shot they were going for. Like, and yeah, no, it was definitely done well. So okay, and how is Zemo not constantly like chained up or put in restraints like 24/7 at this point, especially after like he got out of the handcuffs that Walker put him in, and goes on a rampage and trying to shoot Carly and all that business. I'm just like, and
I don't know.
you're still just going back and hanging out at his pad with all of his Turkish delights. Like, what is this? Like, so I just think like when it comes to the topic of Zemo, like there's just some poor writing going on that front, unfortunately, and hopefully they can figure it out with these next 2 episodes, because I feel like at this point in time uh, it's not going the way it should. So, but I mean, overall, I think this was just kind of an okay episode. I'm still trying to figure out exactly where my feelings lie. I mean, the pacing just was off on this episode. I feel like, save for like the last scene, uh, this was kind of just like just a so episode for the most part.
Yeah, I agree. I'd probably get like a 6 at best for me personally.
Yeah, yeah, no, fair enough.
So
Yeah. So next up on the list, Godzilla versus King Kong. So I actually went and saw this in theaters here, just
no
because.
spoilers. No spoilers.
Yeah, I'm actually going to keep it pretty spoiler free for the most part here. So,
Okay, because I
so
still want to see it.
I mean, on HBO Max, baby. So,
Yep.
honestly, not bad. Um, there's not as much action as I thought there was going to be, and there's definitely more of a focus on King Kong than Godzilla. I mean, King Kong is kind of, well, I won't get into that because that might be a little bit more spoilerific, but the end fight scene was pretty dope. And I don't know if you ever saw like the first new Godzilla movie that came out in 2014, or any of them for that
No.
matter. But so in, in the 2014 movie, they kind of try to go more with like a more realistic tone, kind of saying like, okay, like if Godzilla was to actually exist, in the real world, how would that work? And I think they did a pretty good job with it. They just didn't have like as much action as they should have for that movie. But in this movie, they said, screw it, we're going completely sci-fi here. And, we got all sorts of like futuristic technology and machines and, stuff like that. And there's some, very apparent gaps in logic on some things that you just kind of look at the screen and you're just like, okay, that was just lazy writing on that front here. But, and
Yeah.
there's a whole storyline that, I mean, I guess like I would say like a big part of the movie has to deal with like the whole Hollow Earth aspect, which, I won't get too in depth with that, but it gets a little convoluted. So I mean, overall, it's all right. I don't know why they really even bother like trying to develop like the human characters at this point, because we're here to see the big guys, or that's just what it is. And I don't think they really need
Kaiju.
yeah, exactly. And I don't feel like they need to have like, an in-depth plot line just to get these two guys to fight. I mean, can't a giant gorilla and a giant reptile just hate each other? I mean, I feel like that's all you need here. Donkey Kong Country has been doing it for years, and it's been working out for them. So I'm just going to
Reptar
put that
from
out there.
Rugrats.
Yeah, there you go. But overall, I mean, not bad. I don't think it's like a super great movie, but if you just want to see two monsters fight and destroy a city, this will be up your alley.
Yeah. Before we head out, is there anything coming up of interest to you, whether that's movies, video games, comics? Is there anything on your radar?
Um, I will say this. I just started playing Resident Evil 7, so which is like very different from like the previous Resident Evil games. First person, very much different type of horror, I guess, so to speak. So far I've like that game is scary as everything here, but I'm enjoying my time with it, and it's definitely making me more and more interested to play the new Resident Evil 8 game that's going to be coming out here, which is like in about a month. So,
Nice.
So that's about all I got on my
Okay.
end. How about you?
Gotcha. Streets of Rage 4 is getting some DLC. So it's like 3 new characters, couple new game modes, some more story, obviously. But that game's pretty perfect when it comes to a beat 'em up. So that's pretty cool that they're doing that. That brings some more livelihood to the games and whatnot. They're gonna have like almost like a horde mode, like a survival mode where you just keep fighting people and fighting people and fighting people. I just got done reading. I'm caught up on the new Batman stuff, so I just got done reading the Joker War, and it was pretty good. It's really hard to compare because I feel like Hush is the best Batman there is out there. Like that's the best arc in my opinion, and it's just super hard to match that really. So it was fine. People were hyping it up, and I feel like there was a lot of hype, but
yeah,
it was fine. It wasn't like crazy good or anything like that. It was just fine.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. I think the next issue of Ultra Mega comes out soon. Like another month or so. Same with Last Ronin. It comes out in like another month. That's been really bugging me though. The Last Ronin thing, they've been freaking milking that hard. Like the third issue hasn't even come out yet. And so we're getting one like every other month. It seems like the last one came out March. This one's not coming out till May, I don't think. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. And then movie wise, Mortal Kombat's coming out. Like I'll probably watch that. I got pushed back a week or whatever, so now we got to wait a little bit longer. It was going to be coming out this Friday, I believe, but
yeah, it was, yeah.
So
I don't know, but again, a week versus like a couple of months, I'll make that trade any day
Yeah.
of the week. Or
Oh yeah, for
honesty.
sure.
But
yeah, other than that,
no, I mean, yeah. I was just gonna say, like,
I was just say about
that, like, with what you were talking about, like Hush, I think, yeah, that's absolutely, I think that's very true. Definitely one of the best Batman arcs, just because it's very much quintessential Batman here. It's Batman the way he should be, the way it is, and like not like getting convoluted with a bunch of like, weird, like crazy stuff, like kind of like how I think the Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo run did, like, after a while here, after, like, Court of Owls and all that stuff here. But I digress.
right. Yeah, Snyder's got a new comic out called Noctera, which I've been wanting to pick up, but it's just like it's just another thing, So,
Just add it to the
but yeah,
list.
anyway, yeah, pretty much. So, I've been really liking the indie books anyway. That's I think like I've been getting bored with Thor. I've been getting bored with Venom. Like, so like the indie books are what's keeping me actually reading. So I don't know.
How is Something Is Killing the Children going here? Has that been going?
So the arc just finished up. So it was 15. The 15th, I think it's 15 issues, and they're taking a break for a little bit, and then they're going to come back with a new story arc.
Okay.
So I have no idea what it's going to be, but from what I hear, it's going to be a couple months until that starts up back again.
Okay.
I think it finished out pretty decent. Obviously it leaves stuff open for other things to happen. Maybe not in that town, but moving on to a different town. Because they're fighting monsters all over the place. But yeah, that's one of my favorite series. And then there's a couple new ones coming out, and so we'll see what happens. But it's a lot to read. And then I got to catch up on my Japanese comics here soon. I got to start reading through that again, and then I'll have a review of the first 7 issues of the original Ninja Turtles line. I have that. I have a collection of that, so I'll probably be doing a review of that soon, as well as the reboot that happened, I think, a couple years back for IDW. I got a bunch of their digital issues. So you can actually get them if you have Comixology subscription, you get them for free up until like the latest 20 issues or something. There's like 100 and something issues. So that's actually been really interesting because it completely changes like the origin of the Turtles, and kind of implements new ideologies to the Turtle franchise. So very, very interesting. I'll say that. So, but yeah,
okay, fair enough.
I think that's it. Thank you guys for listening. We greatly appreciate it. Check us out on our social medias. Leave us a review, a like, comment, subscribe, all those good things. Have an awesome week. And remember, everyone's a nerd about something.